In this song lesson, learn an Eagles classic. We'll be using easy open chords, and I'll show you how to reach all those cool notes. This is Lyin Eyes. Welcome back to Relax and Learn, guys. I'm Kevin. This is Maggie May, getting her YouTube treats out of the way before we get started. My wife Vicky's behind the camera.
Hello.
And let's get started on this great Eagles lesson. So this one is all about this G shape that we're going to be playing in this song. We're going to be playing an open G chord here, but we're going to be using this fingering throughout the entire song. Middle finger is on the 5th string 2nd fret. Your ring finger is going to play the 6th string 3rd fret. And your pinky is going to play the 1st string 3rd fret. Now the reason we're doing that is we're getting a little bit of a workout in this lesson with this index finger. It's going to be moving around, making some different shapes, and there's a little bit of a little hammer on we're covering this intro. But really get used to playing the G like this. And if you want to check out another lesson where I show you several different ways to play a G chord, you can check out this lesson next, and we'll leave it in the description as well. But this is kind of the basis of it. The reason we're doing that is the next chord we're going to come to is a G major 7 chord. And to play that, we're going to lift up our pinky, but we're going to put our index finger down on the 2nd fret 1st string. And one thing that's been very helpful to me as I'm going through this song is I really have to pay attention to where my thumb is. My hands are a little large, and sometimes you'll see my thumb like peeking over the guitar here. I really have to be aware of leaving my thumb further down on the neck, more like in this area. And the reason I do that is because that will then naturally move your hand out some, because one thing that I've encountered making this G major 7 chord is sometimes I'll mute that high E string because my fat of my fingers will get in the way, or right here where my fingers meet my palm. So I really have to kind of be aware of that. So get really used to this. G, G major 7, G, G major 7. Another thing with this G major 7 chord is if you're newer, even if you're not, this can make things a lot easier on you as well. So you have the G shape here, and then we're just making that G major 7 shape. What you can do is lift up your middle finger, and then you're going to use your ring finger here, just kind of the fat part of your finger here, is going to mute this 5th string. So you really could just play this chord with 2 fingers, with your ring finger on the 6th string 3rd fret, mute the 5th string. Then you have a little more movement. You don't use this middle finger. Your index finger can reach this 1st string 2nd fret a little easier. So you have the 6th string 3rd fret. You have a muted 5th string, open, 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 and then 1st string 2nd fret. So try that if you're struggling a little bit, or even if you're not, it makes it a little bit easier to play. All right? Now let's talk strum pattern, and this strum pattern is going to be played throughout the whole song. There's a couple variations at the end of the verses, a little bit in the chorus that we'll get to, but for the most part, we're going to be doing a down, down, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, up. Kind of like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's a nice steady kind of pace in this song. It's not too fast. Tells an amazing story. I love the lyrics in this song. So that G, get used to that. Down, down, up, down, up. And then lay that index finger down on that 1st string 2nd fret for that G major 7. And do one more strum pattern there. Then we're going to have 3 more chords here in this intro. The first one's a C chord. The next is an A minor. And the next one's a D7. And the chord progression is 1 strum pattern on the G, 1 on the G major 7, 2 strum patterns on the C, 1 on the A minor, 1 on the D7, back to G. And then it goes into the verse. Now there's a cool little thing you can do here in the intro. da da da. We're going to be hammering onto the first string on the 3rd fret. So we have this G shape for 1 strum pattern. Then you're going to play that G major 7 for a down, down, up. And then you're going to do down, up, down, down on G major 7, up on the G basically, because you're putting that pinky down onto that 1st string, 3rd fret, and then back down on the G major 7. So real slow, starting with the G, it's then to the C. So from the top on that intro in real time here, or actual tempo, I guess would be the right word.
Yeah.
All right, we go C twice, A minor, D7 to G. And then for the verse, very similar chord progression, a little bit of variation here. We're going to use, again, that starting on that G for 1 strum pattern. G major 7 1 strum pattern. C twice, just like the intro. But then hang on this A minor next for 2 patterns. And then D7 for 2 patterns. Then another G. G major 7. C 2 times, and then 1 time A minor, 1 time C, and then 2 times on G. And that's the first verse and the first part of the verse. The endings of these verses change up a little bit. The first one, you just play that G with 2 strum patterns. At the end of the next part of the verse, we're going to change it up just a little bit. G 1 time, C, D. So that's a little bit of a variation there. After that G, we're going to go down, down, up on the C, and down, down, up on the D. And it adds a little bit of variation. It also helps you keep track of, because this is a chord progression that repeats a lot of different parts of it, and I think those changes at the end of those verses help keep track of where you are in the song. And then the last variation on the verses, the very end of the first verse, we are going to kind of hang on that G chord. It's the heading for the cheatin' side of town, which is just an incredible lyric. A minor, C, G 1 time, and then 1 down strum on the G, which kind of holds us and gets us set to go into the chorus. So before we get into this chorus, let's talk about a new chord we're going to be playing. There's a couple of new chords in the chorus here, chord shapes. We're sticking to that G shape played like that. Now we're going to be doing I'm going to call it a C/G chord. It's kind of a C with a G in the bass, but there's also like the high E is playing a G note too. So for simplicity, we're going to call it CG. So here's the G. To play the C/G, lift up your middle finger, put it back down on the 4th string, 2nd fret, and your index finger is now going to play the 2nd string, 1st fret. So you have kind of like part of that C shape, but then you're also playing these. So this chorus starts on the G. So we're going to be going back and forth. And when you're playing this C/G, one thing that's perfectly fine to do is use the fat pad of your ring finger here. Oh, mailman's here. Use the fat part of your finger pad here that's playing the 6th string 3rd fret. You can let that rest against the 5th string to mute it some. Because the most important part of that C/G are those higher end strings. So you have 1 strum pattern on the G, 1 strum pattern on the CG, and now we have our kind of fast change here. It's a little bit like that little pinky trick. It's going to be CG, G 1 time, 1 strum down on the CG, and then back to the G pattern. So from the top on the first part of this chorus, we have the G for one pattern, C, G for one pattern, back to G, one strum down on the C, back to the G. Now we get into some different chords here. We're going to have an E minor chord, a B minor chord, and if you don't want to play that as a bar chord, you can play it this way, and then an A minor and a D. Great chord progression kind of sequence here. I'll just play from the top here for the chorus. Just beautiful. So after the G chord, and that's C, G, G, C, G, we get one pattern on the E minor, one pattern on the B minor, one pattern on the A minor, and one pattern on a D. And then the second part of the chorus, the I Thought By Now part, goes like this. We're going to add another new guitar shape here, guitar chord shape that we've not played yet. It's a G7 chord. And to play a G7 chord, we're still going to be using this shape here, the G. G7 is index finger plays the first string of the first fret. And again, for this G7 chord, if you're struggling a little bit, or even if you're not, you just want to play it a little bit easier, same idea. We're going to have this G7 shape. We're going to mute that fifth string with our ring finger again. So we have 6th string, 3rd fret, a muted 5th string, open, 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 and then we're going to have that index finger on the 1st string, 1st fret. So you can really play this chord with 2 fingers as well. Ring finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and index finger on the 1st string, 1st fret. Yes, it's only played one time for one pattern here in the chorus, but it's a G7 chord. So the other new chord shape in the end of this chorus here is an A7 chord. It's basically like I picture this as an A chord with no middle finger there. But to fret it, it's going to be easier to fret it with your middle finger on the 4th string 2nd fret and your ring finger on the 2nd string 2nd fret. It's an A7 chord. So we start here on the Thought By Now part. These all get just one pattern each. We're going to go G, G7, C, A7, A minor, D, G. All right, so let me play through that entire chorus and one time, and you can kind of play along with me here. So we have, starting on the G, G, C, G, G, C, G, E minor, B minor, A minor, then D, G, G7, C, A7, A minor, D, G. So enjoy that one. I really encourage you to play along with the record to kind of get up to tempo. And it's just an amazing song, great lyrics. And that little G shape will go a long way for you. Until next time, remember that Vicky and Maggie and I very much appreciate your views and your support here on YouTube. It's been amazing. And for your next couple of song lessons, check out some Hotel California and Peaceful Easy Feeling, some Eagles songs you can't go wrong with. And also remember that you're never too old to learn, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.